SoIN.
This is SoIN, and I'm Angie Fenton. Thanks for joining us this morning. Today, we're taking a trip through downtown New Albany to take a look at local businesses you're not going to want to miss out on.
What's the defining dish for Ready, Set, Prep?
I think 9.5 times out of 10, when you come here for lunch, people are going to get our taco bowl.
Oh, you're not kidding.
Rick House is where bourbon barrels go to age. We use bourbon barrels in our food. You know, this is paying homage to, you know, kind of the culture here.
When people walk through the door of the wine shop, what do you want them to immediately feel?
That they belong here.
Wine has always been something that people congregate around and commiserate with, and that's the space that this should be.
When I hear the word fried twice, it only makes me want to dig in even more. Well, Peggy, I am a big fan. Tell us about Ready, Set, Prep.
So Ready, Set, Prep started off as just a meal prep company. So we made just, healthy, ready-to-eat meals that people could reheat at home.
Right.
And it's kind of snowballed into something bigger. With our brick and mortar, we do lunch service. And it honestly, lunch service was originally just, kind of an added bonus for us, but it's actually matching our meal prep that used to just carry our business along. So it's
so many great flavors
exactly,
and healthy content. You know what you're putting in your body, and it tastes good in the process. Can't beat that.
For sure.
So tell us, what would be the defining dish for Ready, Set, Prep? We want to try some food today. We want to show you folks at home. What's the defining dish for Ready, Set, Prep?
I think 9.5 times out of 10, when you come here for lunch, people are going to get our taco bowl. And it's really one of those things that, yes, it comes a standard way, but you can really have it however you want.
Have it your way right here at Ready, Set, Prep.
Exactly.
Love that.
So it has steamed rice, ground beef, cheddar cheese, romaine lettuce, pico, and chipotle aioli, and avocado.
So let's go all in on this.
Okay.
I want the full treatment.
For sure.
But yes, let's get into the taco bowl. So excited about this.
All right.
All right, so we are cooking the ground beef, seasoned ground beef for our taco bowl. Smells very good. One thing I love about Ready, Set, Prep, a lot of local ingredients, fresh ingredients, macronutrient counts. You're going to know your calorie count on all of the food here at Ready, Set, Prep. So all you health nuts out here, you've got the best of both worlds. Healthy food and delicious.
Yep, everything's listed on our website, so including all of the ingredients in all of our meals, so you it's full transparency. You know what you're getting and how we need to modify it if there's stuff that you can't have.
Absolutely, absolutely love it. Smells great.
There is that. I'm gonna pull this rice out.
All right, we got our white rice for our bowl, taco bowl. I bet you go through quite a bit of rice here at Ready,
We
Set,
do.
Prep.
There's a lot of rice in a lot of our dishes, and I grew up eating rice. That was my carb of choice. So
It's a good one.
yeah.
It's a good one. A little lower calorie than that pesky pasta.
And there, all right, we'll get our corn.
All right, sizzling the corn on the stove, black beans being added. It's my type of meal here.
Yeah, I don't think there's very many people I know that don't like a taco.
Yeah, so if we can take the extra carbs out of it with those tortillas and put it right into the bowl, yeah, even better.
So we got a little cheddar cheese and some fresh cut romaine here.
Okay.
There we got our black beans and corn.
Black beans, corn, seasoned ground beef, cheese, romaine over rice.
And we do fresh cut pico.
Oh, love it.
So,
gotta have my
do a little bit
pico.
of that. And do some avocado.
Okay, fresh cut avocado, chef.
All right. Let's pray this one's green, yeah.
Perfect.
Right.
I can tell you've messed with avocado a time or two.
Oh, yes.
Looks beautiful.
We go through a lot of avocados too.
I'm sure. Get
So
that good
there's
fat.
that, and then this is probably what makes it, is this chipotle aioli.
The secret
we
sauce.
make that too ourselves. So
Chipotle aioli,
so
yummy.
it's a little bit spicy, not too spicy. So, and then we just make it real pretty with some cilantro microgreens.
Ooh,
We get this from a local microgreen farmer. So.
love that. Shopping local, nice presentation,
so yeah,
beautiful
you know.
looking meal. And now we just dig in?
Yes.
Oh
yes.
my! And I'll tell you, you folks at home, one of the beautiful parts about Ready Set Prepped is if you are on the go and you're looking for a nice health option, you can get your meals very quickly here at Ready Set Prep. They're burning and turning meals in
For
5
sure.
minutes. So
And if you can't
just
come
like that.
in, we're part of DoorDash, Uber Eats, Grubhub, so you don't even
Yeah.
have to come to us.
Order it. They'll send it to the house. Love it. All right. Well, let's dig into this bad boy.
All right.
Thank you.
Just spoon there.
All right. I'm gonna try to get a little bit of everything
Yes,
here.
for sure.
See this at home. Little avocado, some of that pico, some of the rice, greens. Here we go. Angie's gonna be
Don't
on
worry
me if I
yourself.
take too big of a bite here. So. Oh, you're not kidding. That chipotle aioli is delicious.
It's just the right amount of spice.
Oh man,
Tie it all together.
so much flavor. It's so fresh. Look at chipotle aioli pouring out of my mouth here. It's so good. I love the avocado. Really balances the ground beef. Oh, I'm a huge fan. If you haven't been to Ready Set Prepped yet, I promise you're missing out. Get one of these taco bowls. It might just change your life. Thank you so much, Peggy. This is
Yeah,
amazing.
thanks for having me.
I'm going back in.
Holy smokes, no, I mean that. If you love good barbecue, whether it's Texas or Carolina, you're gonna wanna check out the Rick House. We did. Take a look. We're going to talk about your multiple businesses in just a second, but I need to make sure that I have this straight. I'm what they call a Hoosier by choice, not from here originally. And now, SoIN, Southern Indiana is everything to me. You both are Kentuckians currently at the moment, but your businesses are on this side of the river. You have to explain that because very often it's the other way around.
Yeah. For me, we've done business in Louisville before, and we do business over there. We have a food truck and we do festivals and stuff of that nature over there. But for me, our commissary is over here and our restaurant is now over here. And I think for me personally, I'm not going to speak for Jake, but for me personally, the reason why I kind of enjoy being on this side of the river as opposed to on the Louisville side is over here we've noticed that people, they want you here. They want your business here. And so that's a big draw for me is because going into a place that wants me there versus a place that has hundreds upon hundreds of applicants. It's, why wouldn't I go to a place that wants me to be there? Not just wants me to be there, but wants me to thrive and to become a part of that community. So that's me personally. That's why I choose and enjoy doing business on this side of the river. So
I am a Hoosier by nature. I was born here, not in Southern Indiana. I was born in East Central Indiana, and the town that I grew up in was 2,000 people. And so like a small town is kind of where I came from, and like understanding the country and like I can live anywhere. I can live in Louisville and I can be a city boy. I lived in New York, lived in South Carolina. I've kind of lived all over. So like I can adapt to any situation. I like small towns better, I like being over here. I've cooked all over Louisville and I love Louisville. All my recovery's there. And like a big piece of me is there, but given the opportunity, I love this side.
I just have to say, by someone who intends to be a Hoosier for life, thank you. And also, when you look at the rankings, Indiana is in the top for startups and small businesses. And so to hear you say that we want you here and that's how you've been treated, I'm so glad. I feel a little sense of pride.
yeah, definitely.
But the Rick House. So we all know bourbon barrels and bourbon staves. unless you've actually been in one or really understand that. And what in the world is a rick house?
So Rick House is where bourbon barrels go to age. I figured more people in this area would know what that is, but I think I misjudged how many people actually know about alcohol here. And so when we came together and we formed this company, we wanted everything around here is bourbon this or barrel this, and I'm not knocking it. Please, by no means, I'm not hating on that. What I'm saying is that we can still pay homage to this area and do it in a different way, and it's not the status quo that everybody else is doing. You know, I had somebody tell us when we told them about Rick House and what it meant and stuff, and they were like, "Oh, thank God." And I was like, well, "What is that from?" And he goes, "Well, it's not another bourbon this or a barrel this. It was something that we could still kind of like give respect to this area, but then also it was done in our own way." And also too, I use bourbon barrel staves to smoke. That's my wood of choice. And so I get bourbon barrels because of the white oak, and that's my oak that I like to smoke my brisket with. So that was kind of our deal about, you know, when we were talking about it. You know, I think it was Jake that said, you know, we burned down the Rick House, and it just something in that kind of like just kind of stuck. We use bourbon barrels in our food. You know, this is paying homage to, you know, kind of the culture here. So we were excited to. It just kind of everything kind of fell together, and so that's, you know, we stuck with the Rick House name. So. And
it's a great name. You've got a great logo, but I know you work together. But I have watched enough smackdowns, throwdowns, you name it. I mean, we've got Carolina barbecue and we've got Texas barbecue, and it's always a battle.
It is.
But yet you created a collaboration here. What is happening?
It's just our take on a fusion. You know, he brings the great part of his heritage, and then I kind of bring the great part of mine. And like what I did as a kid, and like I was a hunter, you know, and my dad taught me to take deer and put it on the smoker, and we smoke with hickory, you know, and then I kind of just rolled with it, and I've always used hickory since then. And I started doing pork butts, and started doing sausage, and started doing chicken, and you know, and just kind of went with it. And like that's kind of my background, and then we take his background, and then we infuse a bourbon barrel in between it, because this is where we landed together, and here we are.
When someone says though, oh, I like Carolina barbecue better, I like Texas barbecue better, what's definitive about, let's start with Carolina. What does that even mean?
I think, you know, the smoked meats play a role, but then I think specifically the like a mustard-based barbecue sauce, you know, kind of ties it all together. And then like to make ours a little different, we did mustard bourbon barbecue sauce, because why not?
I mean,
Yeah,
why not?
Yeah.
I guess from Texas, it's kind of weird to say what's a definitive Texas-style barbecue, because even within Texas, there's regions that do things differently. I'm a Central Texas guy, so for us, it was always post oak. We have an abundance of beef, so that's what you learn how to make. And I might not be as well versed. It's not that I can't smoke other things, it's that I wanted to make sure that I could knock out brisket at any point in time, which is one of the harder meats to do, but I didn't want to deviate from that until I had it down pat, and until I could replicate the process, and until I could get the same quality every day and day in and day out. So now that I've got that figured out, you know, I can kind of play around with other smokes and stuff of that nature. But you know, even within our smoking styles, like I run a little bit hotter temperature than Jake does. He does more of a cold smoke, and I do a little bit more heat into mine. Main purposes is, you know, I'm trying to put a bark onto the brisket so I can seal the juices and stuff inside. Whereas he's just trying to get the smoke infused in there, and then we can finish it off on whatever heat source we decide to do later. But you know, what we do is like we just try to put our best foot forward, make sure our product speaks for itself, do an immaculate job. You know, over deliver and under promise. You know, stuff of those natures is how we do business. But you know, it's just it's been an interesting, really big learning year for us this year, because of seeing the recession in real time, and knowing that people do have options, and you know, I mean, you know, a thing that we often talk about is like what separates us from every other barbecue place that's in this area. You know, I mean, it's not like we're unique. It's not like we're doing it in a way that other people haven't done it before. What's the one thing that we can do to set ourselves out apart from City or Mission or whoever else that you go to, Feast, no matter who the barbecue person is, what sets us apart from them, or why should people come and choose us over these people? And really the best answer that we've come up with is just how we take care and what we do. I mean, we individually both smoke. Like anytime the meat goes out the door, we've had a hand in it at some point in the process. From start to finish, like that comes from him. It's either off of his pit or if it's off of my pit. But we control the whole thing. Like we're not outsourcing this to somebody. We don't have a pellet grill. Like it's wood fire, wood burners, stick burners. This is what we do. And it's the old school way of doing it. And maybe there's a newer way of doing it that might be better. I don't know. But we stick with what we know. We stick with what we've learned over the course of our lives and kind of where our heritage is from. And we try to deliver the best product that we can. And that's essentially who we are. And that's what we're trying to do. So.
There's a special place in New Albany called Wine Shop. Now, the owners, Jason and Lauren, they refer to it as just a bar, but as you'll see, I had an opportunity to talk with them, and it's so much more. Lauren and Jason, you have I think a great story, located downtown New Albany, open over a year. So let's start at the beginning. First, how did you become partners?
Well, friends and chosen family, I think is more the right title. But yeah, kind of just met through our mutuals. Like, I mean, my partner in life and then Lauren are great friends and have been dear friends for a long time, so it was just kind of a natural progression.
Okay, we all have some good friends, or at least you hope you have some good friends, but then to take that a step further and to go into, I mean, your livelihood depends on each other. I mean, that's taking it a step, but when did you know that was the right partnership?
Weirdly enough, it was 3 weeks after we opened, our entire freezer, our entire wine cooler froze. And it was all of our inventory, our starting inventory froze. And I looked at my partner and it could have gone a million ways. And it went the way it was supposed to go and we got through it together. And had it been, you can't necessarily predict how things would go if it was your own if it was like your husband or partner or best friend, but I knew in that moment that Jason was the right person for me to be in business with. Like there wasn't anyone else that I was supposed to be doing this with.
So when people walk through the door of the wine shop, what do you want them to immediately feel?
That they belong here. Because if they want to be here, they belong here.
Yeah, I totally agree. It should feel like an inclusive place where there's no judgment around wine. This is a great meeting place. It's a great place to exist around a beverage that has existed for just about as long as people have. Wine has always been something that people congregate around and commiserate with, and that's the space that this should be.
Let's define what that space is. This is not a winery. And this is not a restaurant, and I love this on your website. I could almost probably say it verbatim because I visit your website often, but what is a wine shop?
We're a bar. We're a bar and a bottle shop, but we're a bar. And I think that the way that we have approached this space is that, yes, we are just a bar, but we are also so much more than a bar. The space is here that if you have a curious palate and an open mind, you can educate if you want to learn, you can build community if you want to connect, you can make a friend, you can also have a space just to yourself if you want time to yourself. And it's kind of a choose your own adventure based off how you feel. And but in its essence, I think that there's something really special that something is also just a bar.
It's funny you say just a bar, and there, yes, on one hand, that's a place that it's comfortable, but it is so much more, and I share this a lot. I'm sober by choice. I always say I got sober because I wanted a better life. I'm also pre-diabetic, and so all of those things come into play, and so very often, I mean, people don't invite me out they don't invite me out until I had friends who came here and said, you need to come here because there's truly something for everyone. Non-alcoholic beverages, and I'm not talking about just ordering, a generic soda. Why did you decide that you were going to really take time curating that aspect of what you offer?
That's a great question. I think it's as we continue to progress, not as a business, but just as people in general. That is a category that is super important and should be valued and respected. And people who choose sobriety or even just choose to not drink for short periods of time for whatever reason, health reasons, or just to see how life feels, still being able to open that door and allow people to exist in this space, whether or not they choose to drink wine, to be able to share that same time and space with those friends that are choosing to drink wine, and not feel out of place by just ordering a club soda or something like that, still get to hold that same glass and share and commiserate in the same way, is super important to us. It's something that I think you're going to continue to see gain value and trust in spaces, and we wanted to be, a bar that really kind of pushed that envelope a little bit further than most programs are.
I just also appreciate the creativity of it because it's easy. Okay, I'll just do a club soda and some lime, and I'm fine. But I'm experiencing new products and things that I didn't know existed in the market. But I also have to say, I've walked in here and there's been some magic happening. I mean, there was one time, Lauren, I walked in, I'm talking to you, and there's a group of women here, and Carly Johnson is singing. I mean,
And I was crying.
but it also was very just kind of like, oh yeah, this is normal. This is happening.
I want to say I don't know why it's happening. But I think that truly I do. And I think it would be false humility to say that we put a lot of thought and intention behind the choices that we've made. And I think that going back to saying that we're just a bar, the reason why I like that phrase is because we're not caught up in all of these additional gimmicks and layers and things. Like, we are a space for people to connect in a way that through the history of time, a bar has been able to do. And yes, now we've opened more doors that people that choose not to drink don't have to be removed from that. Now, if they choose to not be like some people who choose not to drink, choose not to be in drinking spaces, and we respect that as well. But I think that some of the best conversations, some of the best friends, some of the best business plans, have all started over a beverage. But I think the most important piece is in a space that people feel really comfortable. And when you're comfortable, your shoulders let down a little bit. You turn your chair towards people. You're willing to talk about your day or a problem that you had. And when people feel comfortable with you, they may share in your bottle. They may offer you a suggestion from a perspective that you would never have thought of. But it means that you feel comfortable in a space that you're willing to sit next to someone that may not look like you, or you don't know that they don't think like you. But now you're in a space that everyone just knows that they belong. So it just kind of opens up that door for those conversations. And then Carly Johnson comes and sings.
And then Carly Johnson comes and sings. Like, I have a record player at home. Actually, it was originally bought for my 7-year-old. And I mean, as soon as I was here, I left here, went to Louisville to Matt Anthony's store and bought that Carly Johnson record so I could hear her on vinyl all, I mean, because it was magic. But when it comes to opening a business, and specifically in Southern Indiana, what has that been like for you as small business owners through everything?
Gosh, I coming from Chicago, there was a high level of support and a lot less palm greasing that had to happen.
Right.
It was just being able to use everyone here in New Albany as a sounding board and really getting feedback before really leaning hard into the concept and actually doing the build out was great. And that was something that normally you would insulate yourself with people like-minded individuals that have already done this. And here it felt more comfortable to see what the community wanted even before we started putting paint on the wall, and that was, for me, that was such a cool experience.
And I have had the luxury of, I grew up here, and I also had parents that worked in this industry for a very long time. And so their roots became my roots, and it allowed us to tap into resources when we needed them. There is a luxury and a privilege that came with being like, hey, let's call the guy my dad used. And that wasn't always the person that we chose to use, that maybe they weren't a right fit for us, but it took one layer of we're now going to have to source all of these things as well. We had years of relationship building that our family had put in this community, and it really helps that people that are from here want you to win. I think one of the things that we learned here is that there is almost all the time collaboration over competition. And I think the majority of the people that are going into business in this community, especially downtown, they believe that there's enough for everyone. We are here to actively participate in the growth of this community, and whether it's just Jason and I, or connecting and collaborating with other people that choose to move this needle forward, I think we have some fun things on the horizon. But the bar will still be here, being just a bar.
Thanks for joining us this morning. You can check us out at Extol Media SoIN on TikTok, Facebook, and Instagram, or visit thisissoin.com.